Hey, Sally the Snow Gal here. I'm sitting next to the freezer, of course, and I'm also sitting next to the door to go outside because I think it's going to snow today. Yay! And you know what that means? That maybe Mrs. Weaver might make some more of my family members. I just love my family. And this is a story about family. It's called Koalaloo, and it is precious. There once was a baby koala so soft and round that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koalaloo. The emu loved her, the platypus loved her, and even the little koala calls next door loved her. But it was her mother who loved her most of all. 100 times a day, she would laugh and shake her head and say, Koalaloo, I do love you. Whenever she stretched early in the morning sun, or climbed a gum tree, or bravely went down the path all by herself, her mother would smile and say, Koalaloo, I do love you. Just like our mommies and daddies and grown-ups that love us say. The years passed and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koalaloo. Soon her mother was so busy she didn't have time to tell Koalaloo she loved her. Although she loved her, of course she loved her. Loved all of her babies. Every night as she curled up under the stars, Koalaloo thought about the times when her mother had looked at her and said, Koalaloo, I do love you, and she longed for her to say it again. One night, Koalaloo had a splendid idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in the gum tree climbing event. And she would win. And her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say, Koalaloo, I do love you. Koalaloo began her training right away. She jogged and puffed and lifted weights and panted. She hung from the bush tree with one claw at a time, and she ached until she ached. She did push-ups till her tummy hurt, and at last she climbed the tallest trees that she could find over and over again. She was finding her grit, wasn't she? There she is, finding her grit, as she wanted to be in the Bush Olympics. Sometimes her mother would watch her and ask, How you doing, Blossom? Fine, just fine, said Koalaloo. So her mama was paying attention to what Koalaloo was doing. At last, the day of the Bush Olympics arrived. Excuse me, Koala Claus headed into the gum tree climbing event, and everyone knew how fast she was. But Koalaloo had imagined her saying again, Koalaloo, I do love you, and it filled her heart. It was Koala Claus who finished first. Her climb was a record-breaking 22 meters in 22 meters in 70 seconds flat. The spectators whistled and cheered and wildly waved their party hats. Aw, Koalaloo didn't win. Can I do better than that? Wondered Koalaloo. I must, as she stepped forward to the tree. Oops, I shouldn't have told you that other part. Anyways, listen up. On your mark, get set, go, said the kookaburra. Koalaloo leapt under the tree, up, as she climbed higher and higher, faster, until she right at the very top, and the spectators roared and clapped and stomped their feet. Felt like I accidentally slipped a minute ago. It wasn't fast enough. In spite of all of her training and all of her hoping, it was Koala Claus who had won the gum tree. Koalaloo came in second. And that's not bad. She worked hard for it. Koalaloo went off and hid. She heard the shouts of the Bush Olympics and cried her little heart out. When the first stars came out in the evening and appeared in the night sky, Koalaloo crept home through the dark, and up in the gum tree her mother was waiting for her. Before she could say a word, her mother flung her arms around her neck and said, Koalaloo, I do love you. I always have and I always will. And she hugged her for a very long time. Sometimes our mommies get busy, don't they? But they still love you, and that means your daddies and all the other grown-ups in your life too. Don't ever worry about them. They always love you, even though they're busy. All right, Mrs. Weaver better get busy today if it snows and get my family here.